Every transformation happens in the Chrysalis. I'm your host, Cindy Berger, and this is Conversations from the Chrysalis, a My Journey podcast. Here, we talk about the hard stuff, the breakthroughs, and the moments that shape us and make us who we are becoming. This is your space to hear real stories, reflect, and feel inspired. Take a deep breath, get comfortable, and step into this chrysalis with me. Okay, so let's see. So I think a lot of people maybe can relate to struggling mentally, but not know where to start. So I'm glad that we talked about that stuff. Now I want to talk about rebuilding your life. What does rebuilding actually look like for you?
I guess, keeping on the path of recovery and just recently I was able to finally be able to pass background checks. So um I just, got to keep my level head and there's always gonna be days that are bad or feel like they're bad. Um but you know, we just gotta make the best of it.
Exactly.
So um trust me, I've been in a situation where it's like, you know, things are always in the way or something. It feels like something's always preventing something or someone is always, but, you know, take for example, today. Took us what, 40 minutes? Like
Yep.
determination, motivation. Again, I can't stress that enough. Like I was not, this was still happening regardless.
Oh, absolutely. We were going to figure out a way to do it.
Right. I agree.
What about changes in people? Like you said that you had to cut your parents out. Who else did you have to cut out? Certain friends, relationships?
I cut a lot. I don't really associate with too many people anymore. I just work and I stay home. I have a select few people that I associate with, but like other than that, like I don't like talk to I don't have a person that I talk to on a regular basis. Like I just find it better to like because when you have too many friends, then you're just either doing what they're doing or you're trying to follow them instead of being a leader.
Exactly. You have to figure out
I'm
yourself and work on yourself. Like I didn't
I'm
even date for 4 years, so I understand that.
like we're all the leaders of our own life. You know what I mean? Like when you're adults, there's no excuse for, you know, anything when you're an adult. Like when you commit a crime, there's no excuse. You can't blame it on anybody but yourself.
Exactly.
I feel like accountability is a thing that a lot of people need to have. It's something that we all should have because if we all have to be held accountable, like all the stuff that I did, I was held accountable for that, and accountability is tough to accept or tough to admit, but it's part of growth.
Yes.
I mean, we might make mistakes every day, or not maybe a mistake, but like we might do something that we could do better the next day or whatever. You just got to make little goals. Like
Right.
even if it's just like two goals per day or, you know, whatever. It's, we are the leaders ultimately of our life.
What are
You know,
a couple goals that you have right now?
well, I want to get another car. I had a car for a while and I lost my job in September, so it's been really hard. I had to give it up. So that's my goal right now, but I also I also still struggle with my mental health every day. So I'm still trying to figure out what the best steps going forward is. Um but I've been in mental health treatment consistently for about 6 years now. Therapy consistently. Um, I've already told myself that this is going to be an everyday battle for the rest of my life. It's not something that I'm going to be able to just sweep under the rug. Um, I need my medication. I can't. Like, it's so bad that my doctor told me if I stop taking my one medication cold turkey, I could go out and kill somebody. And I'm like, what? It's just like, yeah, because the withdrawal symptoms are so bad. And I'm like, oh, like it can counteract your brain what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
It can be counterproductive.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that either. Like, don't ever mix different medications that aren't prescribed to you
Exactly.
because, they all do different things. And it could be fatal one day. Look
And
at all
the
these
withdrawals
celebrities.
are bad.
Look at all these celebrities just committing suicide.
Yep.
Nobody even knew that they even suffered from mental health. A lot
Exactly.
of
Like
times
Robin Williams.
it's right. A lot of times it's closed doors, like, and then when it happens, it's like, oh wow, what really happened? And they had mental health and they unfortunately didn't get that treatment or the help that they needed. So I can't stress that enough. Like, people gotta, like, get their life together. Is this mine? Yes, it is.
What were the hardest habits to break?
The hardest habits to break.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess. Well, I used to smoke cigarettes. I gave them up because I got tired of the smoke and the shit on my and the smell on my clothes. Um, I guess I'm glad I gave up the life of having to live in fear of being picked up every day. You know what I mean? And the fear of, did your screen just freeze? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, your background is weird.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Your
Someone
background
came
is
to my
weird.
door. um,
I
so
guess I don't know if you heard, but I said, just I don't have to worry about, parole coming to get me or, so I'm glad I gave that up. I'm glad I gave up having to rely on, you know, substances to, play with my brain to try and think like I need them. It was fun, I will say that, but the long-term effects, I'm kind of glad I gave that up too.
what helped you keep going when you think things are impossible?
Repeat that again.
What helped you keep going when things felt impossible?
I guess a big thing for me was the fact that people, always used to tell me, "Oh, well, you're gonna amount to nothing. You can't do this. You can't do that. You're not gonna be able to do this. You're not gonna be able to do that." And and for a while it was like that. People were denying me because of my background. People were this. People were that. So just the fact that I have this little thing where I like when people doubt me because then when I prove them wrong, then they don't have nothing to say.
Yep.
Um, and just my children, I guess, because I don't really talk too much about them because I kind of try and keep my life private. But I can't preach to them stuff if I'm not doing it. I gotta practice what I preach.
Exactly.
But first and foremost, it was just my motivation and my determination and the willpower that said I wanted to do this because if I didn't do it, then who knows where I'd be right now.
Exactly. So if someone watching right now, if someone that is watching right now feels stuck, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that, it happens to all of us. We get into that moment in life where we don't really know what to do, where we feel like everything is in slow motion or everything is slowly collapsing. And in that moment, you really don't know like what the best decision to do is. I've
Right.
been there multiple times. Um, I used to do a lot. I used to make a lot of decisions on impulse. Um, but that being stuck isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means you might need guidance, or you just might need to talk to somebody, or you got to start somewhere. Being stuck isn't wrong, and it's okay. It just means that you don't know what to do, and we've at least me, I've been there. I still get stuck sometimes, but you just gotta tell your brain you gotta keep going.
Right.
And if you're really really stuck, then you just gotta reach out. There's plenty of resources. But like it's not nothing to feel bad about. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just you're stuck. It's like a car that's stuck. What do you got to do? You got to get it out.
Right.
So
I
when you're
guess it
stuck,
just tells
you
you.
gotta pick yourself up. You gotta be able
Yep.
to, recovery is all about self-esteem too. Like when people say that, they hurt my self-esteem, it's called self-esteem. Like we're all in charge of our self-esteem. So being stuck, you just you either gotta find a way to pick yourself up, or you gotta reach out to family or whoever. If you stay silent, it's not gonna benefit anybody. Because if you don't say anything, then nobody even knows. Because a lot of times, too, people get confused with mental health. Oh, well, they seem normal. They're not out of character, or they're not this, or they're not that. But that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Like they're either just they're just masking it all. Like a lot of people do that. I did it in the beginning. And then when I found out about all my diagnoses, they were like, "Oh, wow, that fits." And I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, of course it fits."
Even people that
Some,
don't have addiction problems, a lot of them tend to mask things by doing other
right.
stuff, shopping, addiction with
Mhm.
gaming, with gaming. And I always tell people, check on your silent friends because they might be struggling with something that you don't even know about.
Yep. And then they're the next one dead or
Right.
doing something.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like mental health is just not, it's just not taken seriously. And I feel like a lot of suicide has to do with mental health. The suicide rates, they don't get any better. I just, I don't know, man. I mean, being lost or stuck is okay. You just
Mm-hmm.
got to be able to either pick yourself up on your own and say you could do this, or you gotta get a little kick in the butt
Yes.
and just be guided in the right direction. But also too, they gotta be wanting the help, because if you don't want the help, then you can't help someone that doesn't want the help as much as you want to. So there's nothing wrong with being stuck at all. I'm sure you've been there. I've definitely been there.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, it's not a fun place to be, but take it like someone trying to bury you alive. You just gotta dig yourself out.
Yep.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we all look out after ourselves because we have to. It's not like, oh, it's being a greedy mentality. It's just like, if you don't look out for yourself first, it's like you want to be with somebody, but and you think being with somebody is gonna make you happy. But if you're not happy yourself, then how can you make anyone else happy?
Exactly. Yep. You
I
can't pour
mask. I'm
from an
not even
empty
lying.
cup.
I still struggle with mental health every day. Some days I just feel like masking myself because I don't feel like people asking me questions.
Mm-hmm.
and then I just deal with it internally. But I'm to the point in my recovery where I know where I can just mask certain things internally and just act like there's nothing wrong with me because I can do that. Because I can handle internally I can handle most situations if they arise. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Certain things I might not be able to, and and but it is what it is.
So
Sorry, I made that answer pretty long.
that's okay. A lot of people that are battling mental health challenges feel isolated. So, what do you think people misunderstand about how serious mental health struggles can be?
I just think that I'm not necessarily against isolation. The point that crosses the line for me is when it becomes concern.
Hmm.
Um, because I like to be alone sometimes,
Same.
to be honest with you.
Yep.
Um, it it just becomes concerning at times when it's like for days or they don't talk or they don't eat or that's when it becomes concerning. But like isolation, like sometimes I'll isolate myself for like 7 hours and I'll
Hmm.
just watch TV or listen to music. Um, that's okay to me.
Yes.
Um, but when it becomes really concerning, that's when there's a problem. Mental health is different in everybody, but well, how can I say this? It has the same, long term, it has the same effects, I think, like it still does the same thing. Like people with ADHD, they're all gonna have the same. I lost my train of thought. I don't even remember what I was gonna say now. Um, sorry, I'm out in public, so there's people cursing and stuff. But yeah, I
I don't
mean,
hear any of that. I have noise reduction down. I have noise reduction
oh,
on.
okay. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, if they want to isolate themselves for like a couple hours or whatever, they just got to get into the routine. Once you get your recovery down, like in the beginning, it's going to be really hard,
Yeah.
especially if you're one of those people who don't really have anybody to lean on, or you feel like your family members don't really understand or care. So you feel like isolation is the only thing. Um, But if they honestly truly feel like that, then maybe I don't know, Cindy, you're the professional. What I mean, me
So,
personally, I mean, I'm not against isolation, but like I said, it becomes concerning at a certain point. You know what
right.
I mean? Because I've seen people isolate for days on end, and their family members are doing welfare checks on them and shit.
Hmm.
That's concerning.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to, hey, I'm putting my phone on D&D for a while to collect my thoughts or whatever.
Hmm.
There's different forms of isolation, but as long as it's not abusive
Yeah.
or like I said, days on end where you're not eating or whatever.
No, you
Um,
actually explained
that,
that really well because like
that's
there is a huge difference between being alone and isolation because being alone by yourself can be really healthy sometimes, like especially
yep.
for me,
Hmm.
I'm an empath and I absorb a lot of the energy and emotions of other people, so I need that
Yep.
time to recharge. But like you said, it becomes concerning when that's all you ever do and you never come back from it and you never go out in public or talk to people. You have to
Yeah.
find your tribe. Like there's nothing wrong with being alone and liking to be alone,
Hmm.
but you also need to I feel like you need to be out in the open and find someone or people like the group My Journey, find people that can support you, that understands
Yep.
what you're going through. So like you said,
Absolutely.
it can become very dangerous for someone's mental health if that's all they're ever doing.
Especially and especially too if their mental health isn't diagnosed and they're not on medication.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, the medication is bad for you. But if you really look at it, what medication that you take isn't good for you? The
that's
cigarettes you
true.
smoke, the vape you smoke, the drugs that you put in your system, the drinking. What else? There's numerous stuff. Yeah, they're not good for you, but in the long run, they help you. Even aspirin is not good for you
Right.
because
Well,
it's
I
not a
say to
natural.
people, the people that say, "Oh, well, I don't want to take any more stuff and put stuff," I always say, does the risk outweigh the benefits, like the side
It
effects and
doesn't.
different stuff like that? And honestly, I will
Doesn't.
tell people that if you're
Hmm.
just starting out with being diagnosed and trying out mental health medications, the first one might not even work. The second one might not even work. You just have to give it patience, and you have to
Listen,
find different things that will work for you.
I've been changing my meds quite frequently. I know it's never going to be perfect with meds. You know what I mean? I'm always going to have a panic attack. The medication isn't to cure you. It's not to make the diseases that you have go away.
Right.
Mental health doesn't go away. It's just about managing it. There are
Yes.
people out there who can manage their mental health without medication who are perfectly normal. But then you get those people that, have whatever, they had a shitty upbringing, or, and also too, I found out recently ADHD cannot be outgrown when you have it as a child, you cannot outgrow it as an adult. Because I had ADHD growing up,
Mhm.
and they told me, yeah, you probably outgrow it as a kid, as an adult, and I never did. And then I found out recently by my doctor that you can't outgrow ADHD.
I believe that, and like you said, it's just about managing it. And
Yep.
yeah,
The
it's
the
it's
medic
about.
There's so many diagnoses out there. There's
Mhm.
so many medications out there. And yes, a lot of the medications are similar. And, you know, if you're just starting out, it may take you a while. It may take you a couple months to, who knows,
Yeah.
to even, because the medication takes at least a couple cycles.
Yeah.
And I tinker with my meds sometimes because sometimes you outgrow the medicine, and so you
Mhm.
need something more,
Right.
and it's okay. You got to trust your healthcare professional, and to guide you. Also, too, therapy is a big, huge start. Is a big,
Yeah.
huge step.
Yeah.
Therapy. Um, Therapy may seem boring at times, but you know, I've been in therapy consistently for seven. What did I say earlier? Five? I don't even know, but consistently for years.
Mhm.
It's just something that has to be a part of my life.
Yeah.
Like it just has to.
Yeah.
Because if I stop taking the meds, or if I stop, treatment, it's not gonna it's not beneficial because there's consequences.
You're going to go back to square one, and if not worse.
Hmm.
So definitely,
Yeah.
like, everything that you're saying is definitely true. Mental health treatment can look different for everybody, and some
Yep.
people manage, like you said, some people manage it with mental health medications, while others just focus on therapy, lifestyle changes, and different coping mechanisms. There really isn't a one size fits all approach to treating it.
Hmm. It's a case by case basis,
Yeah.
but by letting it go untreated, it is actually making it worse, because
Mm-hmm.
I did that for a couple years, and they actually told me that by doing that, I probably made it worse for myself. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I always make shit worse for myself,
Me
but
too.
I've made it better. I've made it better over time. It's
Mm-hmm.
a huge process. Like, it's become overwhelming at times, but I didn't want to continue down that path because it's just, life is too short, and you got to enjoy it while you can. None of us
Right.
asked to be on this earth, which is true. None of
Mm-hmm.
us asked to be here. We just have to make the best of it. And, some cases mental health can start in adolescence.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, mental health can also start because you could go your whole childhood with no mental health. And then as an adult, you could have all the symptoms and get it later.
Yep.
So, mental health is very complex. and it's very hard to understand. I still don't understand a lot of it. You know, a lot of your posts and stuff like that helps because I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? And
Thank you.
I just feel like, you know, your group and your pages, and you know that has, you know, even though I really don't participate a lot because I'm always busy. I do be seeing, you know, what people read, what people post, what people
Right.
say,
Yeah.
what you specifically post. You know, I feel like that helps too because if I'm feeling down or whatever, having a bad day, I can go on the page and, you know, it's things like that, little things like that, you know, that help. And you've reached Australia now apparently. So
Yes, I have. And Africa and Uganda.
wow,
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
I want. Hey, listen, man, you could do it, man. Don't ever. There's gonna be shitty days in life, man, but you gotta have the willpower to pick yourself up because you gotta start with you. It starts with us internally.
Yes.
Not,
Very true.
you know, it's okay to ask for help. A lot of people think asking for help is a problem, but it's not. I'm sure, you know, to personally me, I would rather go to help for something for mental health, something that's serious because you need help.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
And
too many
sometimes
people,
it's
too
very
many.
hard to ask for help, but um, you know,
Again,
it takes a village, like they say with children, and it really takes a village when it comes to healing and growth and everything. And I like to research a lot of stuff. That's how I got into, you know, doing the educational posts and whatnot, you know. And I do teach by lived experience, but also I research everything because I want to know what I'm talking about. I don't want to talk out of my ass.
right. I also feel like too a struggle with me in the beginning was I felt confused. Like I was stuck because I knew there was something wrong with me, but I couldn't quite pinpoint it. And you know, it made me feel uncomfortable for quite some time.
Mhm.
Because I knew I had issues because when I was a child, they would put me on meds and I would be this and I would be that. I don't have too many memories of high school. But I do, you know, remember when I got out of foster care and I got on my own, I'm like, I'm just gonna sweep this un excuse me, I'm just gonna sweep this under the rug.
Right. Can't do that.
Mm-mm.
It
I don't
never
re
works.
I don't recommend that. And you know, I've come a long way in a lot of aspects of my life. Um, and you have too. And you know that we're two people right here.
Hmm.
You know, I've known you since high school.
Yes,
You
you
know what I
have.
mean? And look at the person that you've become now. You know what I mean? We're
Right.
success stories, Cindy.
Yeah. Yeah. We really are.
Success stories. And you know, even if I could reach just one person, hey, if anybody's having a shitty day, they can hit me up on they can hit me up on Facebook
Okay,
and
cool.
I'll talk to them.
Well, I was
Or
going to say
you
before,
or anybody else.
there's a lot of
Yep.
silent viewers. Like there's
Yep.
like you think, oh, no one's going to read my post or just because they don't comment on it. Trust me, I look at the insights, I look at all the things on my dashboard, and I see that there are people that are reading and watching. And you know, like I said, they may not say anything, but they're there, they're watching.
You know, for a while, like when I follow pages, I'll do that. I'll like watch their reels and I'll watch one, then I'll watch two, then I'll watch three. And if I like the content, then I'll start commenting. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because one, I might like one reel, but then I might not. Then the other stuff might be weird, and you know, so yeah, even one silent viewer. That's all. You got the word out.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if they watched a minute of it, 2 minutes of it, 4 minutes. They watched some of it, and you know they took something out of it.
Right.
Because I believe just you know, posting stuff about mental health. I feel like mental health awareness should be about people who actually struggle with mental health that want to go out there and put the word out because I feel like that could help other people who with similar situations relate. Maybe
Hmm.
not 100%, but relate in some way. Because I feel like word of mouth is better than a posting or like, you know, so they can
Hmm.
actually see the actual person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree. That's why even though I don't like being on camera, I'm becoming more comfortable with it now. But in the beginning, I was like, well, I'm just going to make these posts and I'm never, like, I barely showed my face. And now it seems like you said, now that I am doing videos and I am having people on lives, there's a lot more engagement because they can see that we're actually real people.
Right. That's what I believe in. I believe in, posting stuff is fine, but you're not really going to reach people deeply or like genuinely unless it comes like from the actual person.
Right. Authentically, for sure. I always
Because
show up authentically.
authentic and authenticity shows your genuineness. I
Mm-hmm.
like to be a genuine person every day. Like I try to do at least one good deed a day. Because I believe in giving back because people know me for being such this bad person that's done all this horrible stuff, which, I was held accountable for, and, I'm
Yeah.
not proud of it, but
Yeah.
I've moved on in my life. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I've made how many prison success stories do you hear about? I mean, the changes are there.
Yeah.
You just got to take what you learn
Right.
and apply it to your life. And, like I said, I just feel like there's not enough mental health where I feel like mental health can be a silent killer sometimes.
I can. I really can.
And it's a shame because you don't know what was going on in those people's minds at the time. I mean, you can kind of assume, but, you know, when I read something like that, I'm like, damn, that person must have really been going through some shit,
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad.
and it brings me to tears almost. And it's like, why didn't they go get help? Why didn't they reach out to somebody? Why didn't they
Right.
this? Why didn't they that? Why didn't they
Right.
this?
That's why
And,
education is important and talking about it. We have to talk about it. We can no
and look,
longer sweep it
a,
under the rug or,
a,
just deal
a
with it.
celebrity dies from
Yeah.
suicide and they talk about it for like 2 days and then it
Mhm.
disappears and
I
nobody ever
know.
mentions it again.
I know. Yeah. It's sad. So,
It's like, oh, it was nothing. Like that was a top celebrity.
mhm.
Celebrities.
Right.
So
Well, I
mental
think,
health doesn't discriminate here.
no, it really doesn't. It doesn't matter who you are. Same with
Right.
addiction.
Right. It hits anybody.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, if you've had any traumatic experiences in your life, if you've been suffered from abuse, if anything, any traumatic, a car accident, a loss of life of a family member, go get checked. It does
Yeah.
not hurt at
Yeah.
all.
No, I agree.
At all.
So we have 5 minutes left. I have to do a couple things today, but I really wanted to thank you for taking this time to be on this, well, I was going to say live, but recording and sharing parts of your journey with everybody. Conversations like this, like I said, are super, super important and they matter because they remind people that no matter where someone has been in life, growth and change are possible. Like we are two, like you said, success stories. We are two living examples that it is possible. And if we can do it, anybody can do it. And so I hope anyone that's watching this takes away the core message that you are not defined by your worst moments. You are defined by what you choose to do moving forward. So I just want to thank everybody for watching, and I want to thank John for being willing to share your story. I really do think that you, no pressure, no, I'm not telling you what to do, but I really think that you could be a really good voice in the group and wherever else you choose to be because you're open and honest about everything, and I know that people will relate to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that I wanted to do. And if you want me to be a voice or a leader in the group or whatever, you can just. I'm new to this, so you just gotta, guide me a little bit. But I have no problem. I'll work around my work schedule. And yeah, I have no problem with that. I mean,
Well, I
if
always
people
tell
want
people, trust me, because life, when I say this, it's funny because like life's like shit happens. You have a busy
and it doesn't
schedule, you have
stop. It
kids to
doesn't end
take
for
care
you.
of. Exactly. Just the same as addiction and mental health never stops. So what I
Right.
say is if you want to post and, post whatever you want, motivational quotes, post videos, do whatever you want to do that you feel is right. I can definitely help you. Everybody starts somewhere. I pretty much winged it in the beginning until I started getting a handle on it, and my groove
Seem like
found
you
my
got
groove.
yourself now. So I've
Yeah.
been following you for a while, and I saw the earlier post that you put, and then now I saw where you're at now, and it's like, wow, you've come a long way with that.
Yep.
'Cause I don't know how to
Exactly.
do any of that shit. You made a whole background with butterflies.
I use Chat GPT or Gemini AI.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Stupid AI.
I think AI is a great tool if you learn how to use it for, not like, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm going to forge an essay for school. I'm saying like use it to do research, use it to help you heal. Like
Hey, I just came
truly,
up with a brilliant idea
what's that?
for us. We should start a podcast.
I've always wanted to start a podcast. I just didn't, I never.
I'm down. I'll do a mental health podcast.
We could do that, and I was going to say earlier, you don't have to have like a schedule per se. Just post
Right.
once or twice a week, or whenever you can, whenever you, like I said, whenever you can. There's really no schedule to it. I have a
I think a
schedule
podcast.
because I like structure, but if that's,
Absolutely.
spontaneous, whatever works for you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. I think there's definitely growth. I think I've been very honored that you took this task on for me. And I have no issues moving forward if you want to do like a weekly thing, a
Okay.
podcast or a live or whatever, and we can just discuss whatever. I don't know.
That would be
We
cool. I'm also thinking about starting up
Freaking growth.
virtual meetings in the group again.
Yeah, there you go. More engagement, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if you have consistent people that engage, then it'll
Mhm.
bring more people.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I'm starting. This is something new for me. So I'm kind of like this is a new journey for me.
Mhm.
But I've always wanted to be a motivational speaker.
Okay.
Because I believe that speaking gets further in life than postings, like I said.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But
And we
yeah,
need
whatever you
we
can just
need more topics in the group. It can't just
yeah.
be all about addiction, and that's why I'm trying to do
True.
like healing,
Yep.
spirituality, different shit. So, and I really hope that more people will start talking about their alcoholism, because I had somebody say to me, I don't even feel as if I belong here, because you know, it's pretty
I
much
read
all
that.
about hard drugs and stuff, but it's going to cut
I
out in
did read that.
probably 30 seconds. So we can continue our conversation through text, and then I will upload this. And yeah,
Just
so
make sure you tag me in it so I can show
oh,
on
I
my
will.
page.
I will. Thanks again for coming on live. And I will send it to you too, because our group is private. So you can't share it from the
Oh,
group, but I will send you the
okay.
recording so you can do whatever you want with those.
All right, cool. I look forward to working with you in the future, Cindy.
Yeah, I do too. Have a good one.
Yep, tell Tucker I say hi.
I will. All
All
right.
right, talk to you later. Bye.
Yep. Bye bye.